Good day to everyone. Today it is one of the other wonderful session we are going to start about Janma Rashi. We are going to talk about Nama Rashi, Janma Rashi, and the Lagna, which is called as a tripod to start with any chart. So we are going to discuss about the importance of naming in due consideration with your Chandra and Lagna to understand what kind of destiny we carry with the name itself. So this video is going to be on English. So our very existence in this world is connected with the called Janma Rashi. Not only humans, every animals, every creatures, even small creatures in this world, is having a Janma Rashi. Janam Rashi is a point of moon, which one in the form is we can found in the chart where your nakshatra in which you are born. Each nakshatra is having a rashi which is mapped to it according to the pada of the nakshatra. So based on which we know that the position of moon from the chart. And that is the strength or an open door to the planet. And Brahma is actually called as moon in the form of Soma. Som is associated with the Brahmatva, which is a creative source, creative power or the creative source of Chandra. So hence, moon at the top of head, which shows our own identity. So when moon rises, our image rises and vice versa. That is why in astrology, this is called as also a concept called as Aruda Lagna. And Aruda Lagna, the significator itself is moon. So every time a human being is having a change, whether you're getting married, there will be a significant change in the personality of a human being. If he is studying well, there will be a significant improvement in the personality of the human being. If he is ranking number one, his total personality is getting changed. And if he's getting state first or, in a contest or in a examination, his entire image or rising in the society is happening. But at the same time, if there is a reverse, if it is a failure, that kind of image is also reflecting from the same Chandra. So, and through that Chandra, your society in which you are living should accept you that you are actually rising. If the society which is not allowing you to rise, that is a society which you will be disliked to live in the society. So this is a very important concept. And we are going to talk about moon and also the tides which is connected to the moon. So today we are going to talk about the every rashi is also having a letters which are associated with it. So we will start with Mesha today, which is Aries. The name is associated with A, La, and E. So A, L, E belongs, the letter is belonging to Mesha. And how these letters we will be using it, I will be discussing it in the due course of time. Taurus is Ba, Va, and U. Gemini is Ka, Cha, and Gha. Cancer is Da and Ma. Da and Ha. And Leo is Ma and Ta. Virgo is Pa, Tha, Na. Tula is Ra, Tha. Scorpio is Na and Ya. Sagittarius is Bha, Dha, Fa, Dha. Makara, Capricorn is Ka, Cha. Kumbha is Ga, Sha, Sa, Sha, etc. Meena is Da, Cha, Ja, and Ta. So this is how the letters are associated with each Rashi. Okay. So if a name is, say, Shankar or Sankar, for example, Sankar, the person name is Sankar. So the Sa, the first Akshara, which is actually mapped to the Aquarius Rashi, which is called as Kumbha Rashi. So that is how you have to understand your name associated with to which Rashi your syllable, the first syllable is going to. And basically, we are going to analyze whether that is compatible to the moon's Rashi. So ideally, the name either should have, before going into that, we are going to talk about the tides. Everybody knew that the moon is closely related to the tides of the ocean. And wherever the moon is, that is called as high tide. And exactly opposite to that, which is 180-degree, that is seventh house in the from moon, is also called as high tide. The fourth house is called as low tide. There is no tide at all. And the 10th house is also called as low tide. So why the fourth and the 10th is having low tide? We have to understand that, right? So that we will be understanding when we understand about the houses from Chandra, because Chandra Kundali is very important in understanding many things rather than understanding anything from Lagna. So many astrologers do predict from Lagna, but analyzing a chart through Chandra Lagna is perfect because Chandra is related to self, which means who you are is starting from the placement of Chandra itself in your chart. So if Chandra is placed, say Kumbha, that becomes your Janma Rashi. And from there, your self personality and your life and everything, including career, including your relationship, including everything, including your spiritual life, including everything can be determined by this simple understanding. Now, let us understand what is the first house of moon, moon's lagna. Wherever moon is placed, you take that as a Chandra lagna. And the first house talks about dharma, life, longevity, health, duty, and the kind of mind you are having, how the mind is able to think. So these are all the houses which are related to the first from the moon. We are going to see the second house, which stands for Sampata. The second from the moon always is called a Sampat, which means wealth, financial goals, colleagues, and office. These are all called as the second from the moon. Third from the moon is called as worry, obstacles, enjoyment, and satisfaction. These are all third from the moon. Fourth from the moon is the area where you are seeking for moksha. What is moksha means? Renunciation, spiritual path, discipline, home, rules, happiness. Whenever you come home, you cannot have so much of emotions. That is why it is called as low tide. You have to have shanti at your home. There is no such kind of a higher emotions, stress factors, burst of emotions is not required when you are actually at home. When do you have an emotion is the first and the seventh house. First house is you yourself. Every human being is highly emotional, hence, because the Chandra itself represents self. That is a high tide. And fourth house from the moon is where to understand about your moksha, your spiritual path, your home rules and happinesses. The fifth from is very important. That is where your abilities are being kept. And through the abilities, you will get employment. So, which is very, very crucial house according to me, because according to the fifth house from the moon, whatever the capabilities you are having will be revealed to the outside society. And support, it also shows up from where you are going to get support from, where how is going to be your future, your children, etc. Sixth house from it is called as disease, pain, weaknesses, and punishment. So these are all sixth from the moon, which is uh, again is a Dustana house from the moon, right? So we have problems here: diseases, pain, weakness, punishment, etc. Seventh is where again a high tide is there. So we are expressing our karma. We are having a strongest desire, obsession, and love. That is where we are seeking our partners also. Eighth house is a house of death, suffering, and depths. This is the house moon will be terrified to go. And moon also will not be willing to go to the fourth house because that is where, because you, moon is also called as samsara. When you have come to this world, to the planet Earth, you are called as samsara. You want to enjoy the world of life of Earth, what is going to give. But if you are not willing to take it and you are expressing that you are going to moksha, moon is not ready to go there because that is not the idea or the ideology of moon to go in the fourth house because that is moksha anyway. Ninth house is a security house. It is also represents international affairs, world view of a human being, etc. It's very again an important house. 10th house is again an artha house where there is a low tide. You know why? Because in career, you cannot show emotions. Even if your boss is cursing you, you have to keep your cool because if you are counter effect you are giving to the boss, then the boss will throw you out and you will be losing your job. So hence there is very low tide of moon is kept in the 10th house, which is that is why it is called as career, and that is where the moon is taking you to work. It is also giving you the social rules and also about the sources of income. 11th house is a very important house, which is expressing about the hope, aspirations, destruction, and despondency. And also every hopes and desires of the human being is coming out from this. And also it expresses what way you want to generate your income or gains. 12th house is again a very crucial house. This is a private life of the human being. And that is where your spouse, any hidden matters related to the spouse, private life, home affairs, everything is kept in the 12th house. So we are going to take about the name rashi and the Janma rashi. Now, Janma rashi and name rashi should be the same rashi or maximum to the seventh from it, according to the sound one is getting. If that is not, then there will be a lot of issues which will be coming in terms of how your mind is towards that level of thinking. So, because if somebody is having a name, for example, Sukumar, okay, and his Janma Rashi is Vrichika. Vrichika is the Janma Rashi, Nam Rashi is Sukumar, and the Su stands to the Kumbha Rashi. So, Sukumar will be having a feel not to live in the homeland. So he will be running away from his homeland or he's totally defeated in his home country. Why? Because it's a low tide. There is no water. Moon and Venus are the two Jala planets in the astrology. And two Jalas are kept for taking the maximum pleasures and enjoyment from this world. Not only that, Moon and Venus is also ruling the second house, where you can see second house is a natural Venus house. And also this is the house where Moon is getting exalted. And that is why if you want to have a happiness, you need to have a family and wealth, a lot of money. And that is where the happiness are given to a human being. And that is where the security, your shelter, your security, your happiness is connected to everything related to how much wealth you are possessing. And also its second house is very crucial house for education. It gives a lot of knowledge related up to post-graduation. So again, a very crucial house. So here, the moon's second house is also related to Sampata, correct? Which I told you about wealth, financial goals and all. So I preferably want the name Rashi to be at this Rashi. But if you are keeping your name in the fourth from the moon, then the person is actually defeated because of home rules, happiness, moksha, spiritual path, discipline, and also he is going away from his family. Suppose if your name Rashi is seventh, then also you are actually moving from your mother and motherland. Because if you are moving from your mother and motherland, what kind of life it is? Like you are going to live in a foreign country, you cannot come immediately. You can come once in 3 years, sometimes once in 5 years. What kind of life is it, right? So you will be living completely in the outside planet, or you are living in a distant place compared to your native place. So who did the mistake? This is the humans who we are creating mistakes in making the name, and that itself sometimes makes a mistake. Why? Because in some cases the grandparents' name has been kept in our society, but the naming is again nobody realizes that how much importance is given for naming before taking a horoscope as per Vedic astrology. Because Vedic astrology is also a concept of having a very deep understanding about naming, and also to understand about how the Chandra is placed from the name. So this is very important. So, and the 10th house, we have seen that the career, social rules, and sources of income. So 10th Lord is a Lord which tries to make a social contact, or the contact which is related to the career to bring in for you. So it is very crucial planet according to me. So everybody should understand who is the 10th Lord, and that planet should be well placed in the rashi. And if that is well placed in the rashi, it can give you an easy contact. Maybe your contact is highly influential. Say somebody's father is chief minister. The son will not be able. So son will be having an easy walk of getting a job, or any credibility in any doing a business, or doing a job. It is easy walk for you because there is an easy reference, because your father is a big shot, and you are having a lot of social contact and power through which you can able to attain that. So it all depends upon how beautiful the 10th Lord is placed in your chart, and propitiation is required to that planet for you to get a good job, good security, good career, good sources of income, everything related to that. So what you have to do is to take your horoscope and see where the moon is, create that moon as Lagna, and see other placements in your chart, and see where the Lagna is placed. Lagna normally is represented by LA in English, La in Tamil, and other languages also you can see La, which is considerably shifted as treated as Lagna. So we need only 3 parameters. You have to understand where the moon is in your horoscope, and see the name, the first akshara, and see where this akshara is mapped into the rashis, which I listed out. See whether it is first and seventh from the moon, then it is fantastic. You are having a lot of water because of high tide. Because I need a lot of water. Water is the only parameter for sustenance in this planet. Imagine if the planet is there, you have a lot of money, but there is no water. What kind of life it will be? There is no sustenance, correct? Even you cannot live in this planet for more than a day. So hence water is very important. That is why in the proportion of the resources which what God has given, 72% of the earth is created with water only. People should wonder why that is important, because it is ruled by Jala predominantly, because that is the sustenance area. And which are the 2 Jala planets in astrology is Moon and Venus. And Moon and Venus, hence dominating the Jala Tattva. And Moon is one of the top of it. And hence Moon gives a high tide. And when your name is with high tide, you have a lot of sustenance and water through which you can able to gain up. But whether that itself is enough, no, it is not. That we will be seeing in the next lesson. But in this lesson, you have to do 2 exercises. Those who are watching this video, see what are all 6 and 8 from the moon, 12th from the moon, mark all that with a red color pen, and see whether there is any planet is placed, which house, which rashi is that. All that things you can mark it. These are all the areas of trouble. And see where this 6, 8, and 12 is from the Lagna. And these are all the immediate problem area of your life. These are all the struggles, these are all the difficulties, these are all the suffering, and all those things. Mainly, you can see 6 and 8. Mark it with the red color pen and see where these are all in your from the moon and from the lagna. From the lagna, you find which are all the houses which came from moon 6th and moon 8th to understand a bit easy about any chart. Okay, so these are all the things one should do before analyzing any horoscope. So this alone is not enough. We have to do a bit more to understand what really a chart reading is going to be. So I am going to see whether I can show you some of the examples today after this lesson. I will see whether I can do that. So then you can straight away take up okay. So now today I am going to take Elizabeth, the Queen Elizabeth chart, and this is in front of you. Now you can see our Janma rashi is Libra. It is a Chara rashi. Now there are 3 kind of signs which are available. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn is called as Chara rashis. Chara means movable rashis. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are Sthira rashis, which means fixed rashis. And Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces are called as dual rashis, which means these are all dual signs. Okay, now the moon is placed in Chara rashi, and it is placed in the 12th from the lagna. But that doesn't mean now. See the name akshara and see the name rashi. The name is kept as Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is E sound, correct? So Elizabeth is E. So her name akshara falls in Aries, which means moon, from moon, the Aries is counted in as 7. We have to always count clockwise. So when you count from moon, take moon as 1, take the second house as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Aries becomes a 7th rashi, which is again a full tide. But 7th house is being a full tide. It is called as Agni rashi. So you have to be very careful with Agni rashis from moon. From moon, there is a tattva. So the 6, 7, 8 houses are called as Agni houses. So the planets which are placed also to be carefully analyzed. In this case, there is no planet in the 7th from the Chandra, but the name Rashi falls here. So that is fantastic. And now you can see the name Rashi is having strong desire. It is having strong obsession. It is having love, etc., etc. It is also called as a house of Kama, etc. Now Aries is a house of king. Only kings live here in this house. So she is actually having the king Rashi, and she herself is a queen. See how beautiful it is. The name Rashi is Elizabeth. E stands for Aries, and it is 7th from the this one, correct? Right. And we can see the 10th Lord from the moon is moon itself, which normally should bring the social contacts for her. And the social contact is here is moon itself, and it is 12th from the Lagna. So which means Elizabeth Queen will have lot of foreign connections as a social contact through which she is going to make her source of income, her social status, and career. And everybody knew that what Britain has done with it, like, right, acquiring many foreign countries, and that is where the wealth sources will come from. How beautifully it is explained. Now, what is our capability? We can see the 5th house, you can see Kumbha is our capabilities. So you can see the Mars is army, Sun is politics and kings, Mercury is business. So all these things are our capabilities. So all these planets are giving the experience of politics, of handling the army, handling the businessman, handling the business ventures. These are all the capabilities the Rani is having. So when a Rani is having a capability of running a politics, running a capability of running an army, capability of running a business, what else she wants? She's having 3 planets over there. So it gives a lot of uh, this thing. And you can see the 10th Lord is in Chara Rashi. That also you have to see where is this 10th Lord situated. In the 10th Lord moon, in the Rashi as well as in Navamsha, both are in the Chara Rashi. If it is in Chara Rashi, the person will be highly mobile and the person will be highly successful in a foreign country. If it is Sthira Rashi, then the person will be living successfully in the home country. If it is Dusbhava Rashi, you need to go a bit longer distance than to your hometown to get that success, or you have to look for a different culture through which the success is going to come from. So in the Elizabeth case, it is clear that even though she is a queen, the success is going to come from foreign countries, or when she started thinking about foreign, going out from her home country. That is exactly what it happened when she started thinking about how to make the source of income or career and social status. So this is a very beautiful example which I thought I can share with you, and give your comments, and also look for your own charts and tell me what you have understood through this lesson 1, episode 1, which I started with Janma Rashi, series with Nama Rashi, and a tripod with Lagna. So I'm going to take up the second lesson a little bit more deeper once you have understood the concept of Janma Rashi, lesson 1. Thank you very much for once again who had watched this video, and ask questions related to your charts, related to your own Chandra Lagna Kundali or your Chandra horoscope by creating Chandra as a first house and see your own chart to find out where is your name Rashi. Have you found your name Rashi? Have you found your Janma Rashi? Have you identified your Lagna? If you have done this in this first course with episode 1, I think you will do wonderful in the journey of astrology. Thanks a lot.